Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? So it is currently 11:59 a.m. and I am at the Cancun airport drinking my iced coffee with an extra shot of espresso. And Alex went to go get either a burrito bowl or a cheeseburger. He's not sure yet. He did not want pizza. He went and looked at the pizza place and he said that it didn't look very good. I'm not very hungry. I'll probably just snack and get some crackers. I have some peanut butter M&Ms in my bag from the way down here that I didn't eat. And then I'm gonna go to the convenience store and I'm gonna get some snacks in just a little bit. So, yeah, so we, surprise, we're on our way home. And we got up very, very early this morning. Well, early for me, which is like, let's see, I think we got up about 8:45, something like that. But I stayed up late last night. I watched an episode of Silo and an episode and a half of Silo. I'm like loving that show. I'm sure you guys cannot hear me at all since this airport is so loud. But because we're getting home so late tonight, I thought that I would start vlogging while I'm in the airport. That way, I'll kind of bring you guys along for the ride, so to speak, this time. Anyway, but I watched an episode and a half of Silo last night. So I'm on the 4th episode. I have episodes 4 through 10 to watch on the trip home today. I also rented and downloaded the movie 65. I didn't have enough space on my iPad, which is what I asked Alex for Christmas. I just told him, I said, I want a bigger iPad with memory on it that I can download more than a few shows and a few movies. So, but anyway, I have the movie 65 downloaded on my phone to watch, and I also have Poltergeist on my phone downloaded to watch. And we are flying into Charlotte. We're a little worried because there's supposed to be severe weather tonight. There's supposed to be like hail and thunderstorms and really bad wind. I'm trying to like aim this up so that like people walking behind me, there aren't a lot of people being seen, you know, and this, whatever. But we tried to change our flights to go through Miami, but they said that there was no weather, inclement weather in Charlotte, so we shouldn't have a problem getting back to Indianapolis. But we leave here at about, I think like 2:40 or something. And then we fly to Charlotte and we go through customs, and then we, was he just looking at my camera? Rude. Anyway, and then we go we fly to Indianapolis and we get in, I think Alex said something like 10:25 or 10:30 or something like that, we get into Indianapolis. So, and depending on how late we get in tonight, I will, maybe vlog a little bit from the front porch. Well, I'll have to, because I'll have to finish this vlog, won't I? Unless I vlog from Charlotte, unless we have time in Charlotte, and then I vlog from there. So this might be an entire airport vlog, I don't know. So anyway, we had a really nice ride on the way from the hotel to here, and it was very relaxing. Now, I will tell you the status symbol of the airport, okay? Well, you walked behind my camera, so you listen, if you're gonna walk, I'm like aiming the camera up here. If you're gonna walk so close behind me that you're in my video, then that's what you get. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to do my best so people aren't in it. But anyway, the status symbol of the airport is the Taylor Swift Eras merchandise shirt. Can I just tell you? I have seen so many girls that have the Taylor Swift concert t-shirt on. It has to be the Eras tour though. It has to be the Eras tour. There was like this table over here, and it was like a mom and a dad and a brother that looked like he was so bored that he was like, couldn't even be bothered to be part of the family. And then there were these two sisters, and oh, Alex just brought back some, what'd you get? Oh, you did get pizza. I thought you said the pizza didn't look very good.
I got pizza.
What are all those dipping sauces?
Ranch and marinara.
Here, I'm gonna show. Can I show real quick?
Sure.
Alex got pizza. So anyway, but these two girls, they had on,
They didn't have breadsticks, so I got you little thingy.
I asked him if he got pizza to get me breadsticks, but he got me little, like, cheesy, garlicky things, so I'm not super hungry anyway. Anyway, so yeah, so these two girls, they had on the Taylor Swift Eras tour t-shirts. That's the big status symbol, I think. I was telling them that the big status symbol I've seen at the airport is the Taylor Swift Eras Tour t-shirt.
I haven't really seen any. There were two right over there.
Alright, so I'm going to talk to Alex while he's eating, and I'll be back in a little while. Bye. So we're finally at our gate, and I have been trying to find a place to sit quietly to vlog, but there's not a lot of places to sit where there's a lot of quiet. So this is the best that I can do. I'm sitting right now outside of Bubba Gump's Shrimp Company restaurant, and I got all my snacks for the plane. I already had peanut butter M&Ms, but I got goldfish, not like real live goldfish, for those of you that don't know, but the goldfish crackers. And then I also got some combos, really cheese, chase the hunger away. And then what else did I get? Oh, I got Alex some Nerds, because he loves Nerds. I got something else, but I can't remember what else I got. But anyway, so we've just been sitting out here. We've been waiting for them to announce our gate. And this guy across from me is reading The Firm by John Grisham, which is like one of my favorite books of life. And I love the movie too. It's been forever since I read that. But anyway, so we've been like waiting for our gate to be announced, and Alex got some like notification or something on the app, and so we went over, but then it didn't look like it was the right gate. And then finally we noticed that it came up where we were sitting, gate 16, that it was the right gate. So do you guys want to see a little bit of what Cancun outside the airport looks like? Okay, here, I'm going to show you. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. So this is what it looks like outside the airport. Is that plane taking off? It is. It's taking off. Look at the plane. There's something about airports that I kind of love. But anyway, our plane is over here. And it's not here yet. So we're still waiting for our plane. But I probably won't vlog again until we get to Charlotte. And then I will vlog a little bit, but nothing too much exciting to report. Because as you know, airports aren't super exciting. So here, let me get a good screenshot so I can have a good thumbnail for tonight. There's gonna be my thumbnail for tonight. Anyway, but I will keep you guys updated on what is going on. There's all these little stores in here. Tanya Jean would go crazy because you could spend $1 million in this place. Alex bought Sebastian and Carlitos these like Day of the Dead little like plastic heads that had candy inside of them, and he had told Sebastian he was going to buy him a sombrero, but he thought he would enjoy this like little head filled with candy instead. So he got him those, and he got he always buys souvenirs for like everybody in the family, so he got everybody dream catchers, so everybody's getting dream catchers. Yeah, and I am like noticing things that people have on at the airport that I want to purchase. And actually last night I saw somebody that had a North Face messenger bag, and I like the Gucci bag that I bought last year I use like every single day, and I was no crying in the airport. So I was like, I need to buy something that I can use like every single day, you know. So I'm gonna look online when I get home, because I have no internet access here. I'm gonna look online at these North Face messenger bags. And then I'm also thinking about, and I can't believe I'm actually gonna admit this, my first boyfriend, when I got out of treatment, wore Tevas, and I thought they were so hot. And I have not thought that they were hot for a very long time. But now in this airport, I have seen all of these guys that are super good looking that have Tevas on, and so I'm kind of like, I think I want to get a pair of Tevas. Do you guys remember the Tevas? They have the real cute straps on them and stuff, so I'm thinking about maybe getting a pair of Tevas too for the summer. So anyway, this is my outfit of the day. This is the new Ralph Lauren shirt that I got, and then I have on these little corduroy shorts, which I have to tell you, I bought in 36s, and they are now baggy on me. I've lost like 2 pounds since we've been on vacation, so these are the shorts that I have. And then I have on my Birkenstock sandals. So, cute little outfit for the airport. Alex has on shorts, and then he has a t-shirt that his friend got him that says Bougie as F. Anyway, alright you guys, well I will talk to you when we are in Charlotte. Bye. Okay, well, we're in Charlotte, and my husband is doing some work right over here, and we just went through customs and rechecked our bags, and our flight from Cancun to Charlotte was like 2 hours and 11 minutes. It was a really easy flight, and I watched like 2.5 episodes of Silo. This guy right here is like talking really loud. Anyway, I watched like 2.5 episodes of, and I'm trying to be like really inconspicuous and quiet, which is why I'm sitting over here trying to be real inconspicuous and quiet. But anyway, so I watched 2.5 episodes of Silo. I think I only have, I just showed Alex, because I was like, I'm so sad, I only have 3 episodes left. It's so good. When it started, I thought like all of this stuff was going to happen, and I thought I had it really figured out, and what I thought was going to happen is not what has happened with the show at all. And the show is really good, so I would highly recommend that, and I would highly recommend Invasion on Apple TV as well. So yeah, but that's what I did on the plane, and I ate some of my treats, and then I haven't really had service on my phone for the last week. Some of my texts have come through, some of my texts haven't come through. I haven't been able to receive phone calls. Tanya and I have had to been calling, Tanya and my sponsor, I've had to call them through like Facebook Messenger, because it's the only way I can do it. Like I don't get like reception on my phone in Mexico, which we used to, and so, oh Alex, look at the little dog. Alex, look. Little dog over there, she's got a skirt on. Oh, she's got a little skirt. But we used to like have it through our phone service that we got service in Mexico because we went so often, but I guess we don't have that anymore. I don't know. But anyway, so as soon as I landed, like all these voicemails started coming through, and yeah, so I was just like listening to those and checking those voicemails. I got a lot of like birthday wishes from people, and so yeah. But so Caroline texted me and she asked me if we were back yet, and I said no because she was scheduling Cousin Fun Day for this week. And then I was telling her, because she was the one that recommended Silo to me originally, and I was telling her that I had watched like 2.5 episodes and I had like 3 episodes left. Sorry.
Sorry.
No,
I didn't see you.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
And so I told her that I had like 3 episodes left, and she's like, I love it, I can't wait till the next season, which lets me know this is why you don't ever talk to people about TV shows, and I shouldn't talk about TV shows, but I do because I can't help it, because I love them so much. But anyway, hi. This little girl was like walking by, like staring at me because I'm sitting here talking to the camera. But anyway, I don't know what most people must think when they see me just like talking to this camera out in public. So I don't like to really like vlog in public, because as soon as you like lift up this camera, it's different than a phone. If you're on a phone, like everybody just assumes you're like doing like a FaceTime call, but like if you're on the camera, like everybody starts looking at you like, what are you filming? Like, are you doing a documentary? This is a documentary. It's called The Life and Times of Peter Monn. But anyway, it's called Come Travel With Me from Cancun to Indianapolis. which I have to tell you is interesting. I don't know if I mentioned this, but the woman that wrote that book, Falling, T.J. Newman, she has a new book out, and it's about this plane that, like, as soon as it takes off, it goes into the ocean, and I've been, like, dying to read this book, but I was like, I'm not going to read it until we get back, because I don't want to, like, be, like, anywhere near a plane and reading this book, because it'll completely freak me out. So I was going to listen to a lot of my audiobook because I'm literally like in the first couple minutes of The Recovery Agent by Janet Ivanovich, because Mel recommended that to me, but I haven't read it. So anyway, but Caroline was like, oh, I love I loved it so much, Silo. I can't wait till the next season. This is what I was saying, which is why you don't talk to people about TV shows, because now what I know is that it's not like a limited series that like ends, like something's gonna happen at the end that's gonna make it that there's going to be a next season, which I kind of already knew, but anyway. Well, we board in 39 minutes. Our plane departs at 8:50, and we arrive in Indianapolis at 10:26 p.m., and our flight duration is an hour and 36 minutes. And it says, place smaller items under the seat. So, I'm going to get off here and watch a little bit more Silo, and I'm kind of letting my AirPods charge and the charger thing, because we actually sat like right here on purpose. We're sitting on the floor, so I know all of you people come from me and be like, gross, I can't believe that you get over yourself, okay? Like, have you never sat on the floor in an airport before? I have literally slept. Do you remember when we went to, I dropped my camera while I was trying to talk to my husband. Anyway, he's downloading Cruel Summer Season 1 because he's never watched it. But we one time
Where are you right now?
went to West Palm Beach, Florida for like 24 hours. We went down for like the grand opening of this. Anyway, it's a long story. I've probably talked about it on here before. But they brought us to the airport, or like we ended up getting to the airport at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and our plane left at like 7. And when we got to the airport, there was like no one there, like not one person except for people like, you know, like cleaning the airport and stuff. And so I remember I just kept on listening to this Kesha song over and over and over again. And then I was so tired that we literally had just like backpacks with us, I think, because we didn't, like, we were just going to be there for 24 hours. We were flying in and flying out for this event. And so we literally like fell asleep on our backpacks, like on the floor of the airport, like, and not the carpeted floor either, but like the floor. And we woke, and there was not one person in the entire like waiting area of the airport. And when we woke up, there was like all these people and stuff like that. So always a fun time traveling with Peter and Alex. Anyway, I'm going to go to the restroom, and then I'm going to watch a little bit more. I'm going to finish my episode of Silo that I'm watching right now, because then I think I have 3 episodes. I think I have 3.5 episodes left, or maybe I have 2.5 episodes left. I don't know, but I'm going to try to finish the season tonight. But I have a feeling that I'm going to get home and I'm going to be really, really tired. So when I get home, I'm probably just going to vlog for just a little bit. And then, yeah, I'll probably just like vlog for like 10 or 15 minutes when I get home. And then just like wrap up the vlog and make it a shorter vlog. And then tomorrow night, guess what? I'll be back on the front porch. And I'll be vlogging. And I'll be back in just a little while when we land in Indianapolis. Bye. So we just happened to be sitting here. There's my husband. And we looked up and we saw that it said that it now boards at 9:05 p.m. and then it departs at 9:40 p.m. and then it arrives at 11:15 p.m. which is an hour later than it was supposed to be. So I went up there and I asked her, I was like, what's going on? Like, why is it all of a sudden it's just like an hour later, it's just like, oh, the crew is coming in late. I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, but it's interesting because I was reading all of this stuff on Twitter this weekend about all of these people who were flying American Airlines, all of these people that got bumped from city to city to city on American Airlines. And I mean, it was like this huge thing.
we've flown all different airlines, but like, you know, with American, we've never really ever had any issues before. Never had any problems. I mean, an hour delay is not a huge problem, right? So, but anyway, but it was interesting because I saw all of these like tweets and stuff going on about all these people talking about how they got bumped from city to city to city, and they were like, I'll never fly American again, and these one people were like kept on the tarmac for like 4 hours, and with like no water, no food, no Wi-Fi, nothing. And apparently, like, there's like all these articles that are written. I like screenshot it just in case. I was like, I'm gonna screenshot this just in case I have it, where you can like report these things. And apparently they have to let you off the plane if they hold you on there for longer than 3 hours. So, and then they like flew these people to, they were supposed to go from, I can't remember, like Pittsburgh to I think like Austin or something. And they stopped in like the third city they stopped in was Dallas. And then there was like this line that was like a mile long. They were giving them hotel vouchers so they could go to sleep overnight. But the next flight left the next morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was already like 1:30 in the morning when they got there, and they're having to stand in line to get these hotels. I would have just slept in the airport, but they were having to, I mean, and I just like, I felt so bad for these people because they were so tired, but, and they were all like staying really calm and stuff about it because, you know, like, I mean, at that point, it's like, the people that work at the airport, you know, it's like not their fault either, right? So it's like, it's just this huge, like, you know, cluster F mess. And people that are traveling are upset. The people that work at the airport are like tired and, you know, worn out and stuff like that. So
Changed again.
it changed again. Oh, it said now it says boards at 9:40 as I'm talking about this, and now departs at 10:15, and we now arrive home at 11:52. So I hope that we're not one of these people that get stuck in the airport for long periods of time, but if I do, then I'll be vlogging from the airport all night long. If not, I'll let you guys, Alex is going to ask right now. I think he's going to check and find out what's going on. If not, I will let you guys know. I know he's just like throwing away his,
What's the chances that this
popcorn. What's interesting is, like, I think they're acting like this is, a lot of people are questioning or thinking that it's because of severe weather in Charlotte, which my husband, he's throwing something away. Because of severe weather in Charlotte, which there's no severe weather out here. And I actually, the crew that just got off the plane, they were looking at the weather in Indianapolis, and they said it's clear skies in Indianapolis, so we shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. So, I don't know. I will keep you guys updated, and if they, oh, now it says boards at 9:39, so, well, we're a minute earlier now.
No, literally we're supposed to board at 9.
Well, I know, but it said 9:40, and now it says 9:39, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, we'll make it home one way or another, won't we? But I will keep you guys updated.
For Indianapolis, we are delayed here due to crew arriving late. Once the crew gets here, we'll let you know, and we will update you guys.
Okay, so once the crew gets here, I guess we will be updated, and I will let you guys know. Fun times in the airport. Bye. Hello, hello, hello. Look where I am. I'm back on the front porch. Did you miss me? And it is 1:19 a.m. and we got home, oh, I don't know, probably about 20-30 minutes ago, and guess what? I am already completely unpacked. The first thing that I always have to do right when we come in the door is I have to like unpack all of my stuff. And so I carried my suit bag upstairs, my suit bag. I carried my suitcase upstairs, my big one, and I actually didn't pack a lot this time. So it was really quick for me to unpack everything because just to put this in perspective, Alex's bag was about the limit, like 50 pounds, and mine was like 41 pounds. And I also, in my checked bag, I had a fan, I had all of my shoes, I had my cosmetics bag, which I used to always call a dop kit when I was growing up. I don't know why my dad used to always call it that. Do we not call it that anymore? I don't know. But anyway, cosmetics bag is what Alex calls it. But anyway, I had like all of my heavy stuff in my checked bag, and my checked bag was still 9 pounds lighter than Alex's. But anyway, so Alex was like laying in bed, and he has an appointment early in the morning, and then he's gonna go do I think like one of those IV infusion things tomorrow. So anyway, and then we're just gonna hang out like the rest of the day. We don't really have any plans other than like catching up on shows. I might make some videos tomorrow. I haven't really decided. I definitely will be doing a vlog tomorrow. I can't believe that, like when I went on this vacation, I kind of was like, okay, this is my birthday vacation. This is Alex's birthday vacation. If I like vlog 2 to 3 days out of the week and I take the rest of the week off, then like I'm gonna be okay with that. And even though I didn't want to, because like I love to do the vacation vlogs, but I just didn't know how late we would get back to the room and stuff like that. And I only missed one night of vlogging, and it was my birthday night. It was the only night. So I feel very productive while I was on vacation, and I filmed a lot of videos for my Peter Monn channel. So I feel like even though we were on vacation, I was very productive. And it really didn't, I mean, Alex would go down to the beach and he would like get our chairs ready, and I would film a video for my Peter Monn channel, and then when we would come back at night, like while he was getting ready for bed, I would, you know, like when he was laying in bed like playing his game or whatever, I would sit outside and vlog for like a half an hour. It really didn't, you know, take me that much time, so I'm really happy that I did it. It was really fun. And the trip back tonight, so it kept on getting so changed. It was very confusing. Like you probably heard in the video, the reason why our plane was delayed was because the crew wasn't getting there because they were late because they were getting off of another plane that was late getting there because of severe weather, apparently. So anyway, but we were supposed to end up leaving at like, I think they were supposed to board at like 10:40 or something like that. They ended up actually changing it. They changed our gates. We had to, like right after I got done filming the last part, they changed our gate and we moved down the corridor, and then they changed the time to like leaving at, like they were going to start boarding at like 9:20, and then they took off at like 10, but they ended up taking off at like 10:15 or something like that, which was whatever. We were just, we didn't really care that much. So, but we had a nice flight. The flight was really good, and I finished the show Silo, which I am so excited that I finished. I will just tell you, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but like, because I was talking to Tanya when I got home, like whenever I land from a trip, I always call Tanya right away and let her know that we made it home. I used to always call my mom, but you know, my mom's not around anymore, so I always call Tanya. And so anyway, she was like, well, I watched like part of the first episode and I couldn't really get into it. And I was like, listen, you have to like get into like the second episode, because like where it begins and where it ends are two completely different shows. And let me just tell you, the last 30 seconds of the show Silo is like a complete game changer. And that's all I will say. But stay till the very end, because it is so worth it. I was just like blown away. And I actually finished the show like right as like we were getting ready to land. So that was what I watched the whole time. I actually also rented the movie 65, which I still have 30 days to watch, but I did it on my phone because I didn't have enough space on my iPad. And so I was like, okay, if I get bored with this or whatever, because I usually like to watch movies on the plane, but I didn't end up watching 65. So I don't know, maybe Alex and I will watch that one day this week or something like that, because he's off for the next couple days as well. So anyway, yeah, but it was nice. And then Alex watched, he finished watching The Kardashians, and then he watched like the first couple episodes of Cruel Summer, the second season. And I was like, why did you download the second season and not the first season? He was like, I didn't know that this was the second season. He was like, did I download the wrong season? I was like, yeah, you're watching the second season. And I was like, you should have watched the first season because it's better than the second season. He's like, oh, you don't like the second season? I go, no, I like the second season. It's not bad. I said, but I mean, it's good. I think it's good, in all honesty. The show is just very, like, kind of sad and dark and mysterious. Both seasons are. They're completely different. So, I mean, you don't have to have seen the first season to watch the second season. But it kind of gives you an idea. Well, it doesn't really matter where you start, honestly, but because they're both, like, scripted the exact same way with, like, 3 time periods and stuff. But Alex was like, well, what did you already finish season 2? And I said, no, babe, the show isn't even out completely yet. Like, it's only on, like, episode 4 or 5. I think it's episode 5 at this point. And I think there's going to be, like, 10 episodes of it. He goes, oh, so it's not all the way out already? And I go, no. So he was like, oh, okay. So anyway, but I was like, what do you think of it so far? And he was like, well, I really like it. He was like, it's kind of mysterious, and I don't really have any idea what's going on. And he was saying something about, so it jumps a lot. And the first season to this too, it jumps, which is, I think, what makes it kind of interesting. So this season, it jumps from, like, the summer of 1999 to the winter of 1999 to the summer of 2000, and, like, what happens over the period of a year. And Alex was like, because one of the characters, like, physically, she looks a lot different. Well, they did that in the first season too. Where one of the characters, like, physically, she changes her appearance a lot. They explain it in the first season, why she does that. And I'm assuming that they're going to do that in the second season too. And he's like, I think it's just because they're trying to make her look, like, more mysterious and stuff. So anyway, yeah, so we got home, and I unpacked my bag upstairs, and I came downstairs, and I unpacked my computer and got all my computer stuff put away, and cleaned up the kitchen a little bit because I just kind of left it. I didn't leave it a mess, but, like, just I left stuff out, like, as I was packing stuff up before we left. But we always make the bed before we leave, so we always come home to, like, a nice made bed, which is always really nice. And I turned on the fan for Alex, which, when we're on vacation, I take this little blue fan that we have that's, like, this big, which actually is pretty powerful, and it's I mean, it's a plastic fan. It's good enough to travel with. But, like, when we get home, like, we have this, like, super powerful industrial, you know, mega fan, right? And so I'm always so excited when we get home to sleep with this, like, fan, because I love the fan so much. But anyway, so many people have sent me on Instagram DMs showing me this travel fan that has, like, an extendable rod on it, and the fan is, like, this big, and then you, like, plug it into, like, a USB thing. And I actually thought about buying it and reviewing it for my review channel, and then, like, then I would have a fan to travel with. The exception of why I haven't done it already, which I might do, is that, number one, when it's like a collapsible fan, it's not really a whole lot smaller than the fan that I travel with now, which usually I don't pack into my checked bag because I usually overpack, but this time I didn't, so I was just like, I'm gonna throw it in my checked bag, which I, like, Googled, and I was like, can you check a fan, like a plug-in fan, and it was like, yes. So the other thing is, I think $60, like, this fan that I bought was like $14.99 or something like that at, like, Target or Walmart or something. Got it years ago. We've used it, like, on every trip. I actually think $60 is really expensive for a fan. I don't even think our heavy-duty industrial fan that I bought on Amazon, I think it was like $29.99. I don't even think it was like $60. I could be wrong, though. I don't know. I'll tell you, because I love a super powerful fan to sleep with. So I was at the casino. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. 3 years ago, probably. You guys probably remember better than I do. I don't know. I'm sure I talked about it. But, like, the carpet had been, like the roof was leaking or something into the carpet, and so the carpet was wet, and they had, like, an industrial fan on it. And I got right down on that fan, and I looked at the brand of the fan. And then when I got home, I, like, Google searched that fan, and there's, like, home fans that are made by the same, like, industrial company. And that's how I ended up buying that fan. And it's, like, a great fan, but it's funny because if you put it on, like, 1, 2, or 3, like, you can do, and it's usually, like, low, medium, high, or high, medium, low. They're all kind of the same. Like, they're just, like, super, super powerful. But, so yeah, so I don't know that I want to buy a $60 fan. First of all, I think that's super expensive. Second of all, personally, I don't know that I think, like, a USB plug is super convenient for when you travel, because what that means is you either have to have it like by your computer, or you have to have like a charger cable thing to plug it in somewhere, which, you know, I usually travel with those anyway. Or you, like, a lot of hotel rooms have the charger thing like right in there, but like we had those on either side of our bed, but like we only had 2 on either side. Well, I mean, 2 is a lot, I think, for each person, right? But like I had my iPad plugged in every night, and I had my phone charging every night. And so the fan, I don't know where I would have put that. So to have a plug, I know this is all stupid. It's like whatever, right? Meaningless conversations. But anyway, there was something I was going to tell you guys I was thinking about on my way home. I was thinking about something to do with my mom. My plants did really well while I was gone. Did I tell you guys that my neighbor like texted me and he said that his wife didn't need to water my plants because they had a lot of rain while we were gone? The plants down there are doing good, and my fern, which I like took down and I left down there, it's doing good. But this plant, yeah, it could use some water. I think I'm gonna water them before I go to bed tonight. They're either like too wet or not wet enough. I can't really tell. And then these irises are coming up over here, which look really pretty. But these down here, which I think are impatiens or peonies, or I don't know. I don't know what they are. I don't know my flowers. They're still doing really great. My fern is still doing really great. My fern is doing really well, and these flowers down here are doing really well. These aren't doing bad. They're just not as flowery as they were before I left. They're not as colorful. So I think I'm going to water them a little bit tonight. But yeah, we're home, sweet home, and I was telling Alex, like on the way home, I'm like, made it home, had a safe trip, had a wonderful trip, had a good trip, had a romantic trip, made it there safely, made it home safely, and, you know, the crew and all the flights was fantastic. They were super nice, and, I was thinking about this, like, I've had several friends of mine through the years that have been flight attendants. I do not think that that is a job. Like, Alex used to want to be a flight attendant because he could then travel all over the world, is kind of how he looked at it. I think that's how, like, a lot of people look at it, right? But he, for a long time, really wanted to be a flight attendant, like, even before we got together. And, but I have had a lot of friends that were flight attendants. I do not know how they do it. I mean, I don't know how they go from, like, place to place. I mean, plane to plane to plane, place to... I mean, we were listening to these people that were at the gate next to us, this crew, and they were, like, asking each other, like, where they had come from and what flight and stuff like that. I mean, this is at, like, 10:30 at night, right? 10 o'clock at night, something like that. It was right before we boarded on our plane. So I guess it was, like, 9 o'clock because we were getting ready to board on our plane. And this one woman said, and she was young too, but she was like, well, I started like early this morning, and then I was on this plane, and then I rode with so-and-so and so-and-so, and then I did something else, and I thought, oh my God, I cannot imagine, like, and having to do that with a smile, and, you know, like, Diet Coke, okay, let me put that a little bit of ice for you, and would you like some peanuts, you know, and, I just can't even imagine, you know. So, I never witnessed, so, like, you know when you see this stuff, like, on TikTok and all this kind of stuff of people being, like, super rude in the airports and whatever, like, I never really noticed that. Like, do I notice that people are frustrated because the flight is delayed? Sure. Like, was I even a little frustrated? Yeah, but I also knew it wasn't really their fault. Like, it's nobody's fault, right? I mean, it's not like they have control over those things, like the weather, you know? But when you see those things, like, where people are, like, throwing stuff in the airport or whatever, I never see that. Like, I've never seen that before, you know? Even, like, I was telling you guys, like, I was reading on Twitter, like, how this, like, plane was, you know, stranded, and then they, like, you know, flew them to one city and flew them to another city, and they, like, all over the place. Like, I never really see that either. Typically what I see is, like, just people leaving and planes going and whatever. We went through customs. I mean, customs to go into Mexico was super quick. You literally just, like, scan your passport, and then you go through, and it's like you, like, stand in this, like, plexiglass thing, and then you, like, look at the camera, and then it, like, scans your face, and it's, like, green or red, and they let you go. And so it's really easy. And then coming back in the United States, like we were literally up there, I mean, less than a minute. And the guy, like, he didn't even, like, look at our passports before. He was like, Alejandro, Peter, and I was like, yeah. And Alex said, yeah. And he was like, okay. And he, like, wrote on, like, something. He was like, how many bags do you guys have with you right now? And we, like, each held up our bags. And so he, like, wrote the number on this piece of paper. And he was like, just handed this to the guy. And so, like, when we, like, had to recheck our bags, we, like, handed this, like, thing to the guy. And the guy was like, thank you. And that was it. Like, it was super easy. I remember back in the day, like, even, like, with Alex and I, like, I mean, it doesn't even seem like that many years ago that, like, coming into customs and, like, having your stuff, like, you know, like, having to, like, recheck it. Because if you guys haven't done it before, I don't know if you've done it, but, like, okay, so, like, flying from another, like, international destination into, like, the United States, and then if where you're flying into is not your final destination, you have to, like, get your bags and then recheck them again, right? And that's kind of how they go through customs. But really, it's just like, you just pick up your bags and you, like, take them over and recheck them. It's like, I don't even know really why they do it, honestly. But I can remember back in the day, like, just standing in line forever. Like, I don't remember, where did Alex and I go? Maybe it was when we went to the Dominican Republic, which would have been like 4 years, I think he said it was 4 years ago. We were doing our Q&A, it was 4 years ago. I can remember we came back from the Dominican Republic and we stood in line, and, like, the line, and I think we flew into Charlotte, and which was where we flew in tonight, and the line just, like, wrapped around and around and around and around and around. I mean, I just remember just, like, standing in that line forever. I mean, it was super quick tonight. I couldn't believe it. And, I mean, the line moved really quick. We stood waiting for the luggage maybe 5-10 minutes, and the luggage came out, and then we checked it, and then walked to the gate. The gate was like, we had to go back through TSA, but we have TSA pre-check, so that was, like, super quick. Does anybody have, like, global entry? Alex and I have been thinking about getting that, and I noticed some people that had it today, and they, like, got through, like, really, really quick. So I don't know. My TSA pre-check isn't up for, I think, like 2-3 years, or 2 years maybe? I don't know. It always is interesting to me, like, when we talk to a lot of our friends, and they're like, we always ask them, like, when we talk about traveling, these are friends of mine that travel a lot, right? And I'm like, do you guys have TSA pre-check? And they're like, no, it's, like, a waste of time and money. I'm like, it's literally, I think it was $88 for, like, 5 or 6 years. And it takes, like, no time to do, and you just, like, fill out an application, you give them your $88, and they check it, and then it comes, like, through, right? And then it's good for, like, I think it's, like, good for, I want to say 5 years, but I feel like, I know mine's not up for, like, 2 more years. And it had to have been longer than 3 years ago that I got my TSA pre-check, so maybe it's, like, 8 years? I don't know. Maybe I renewed mine, and I just don't remember when I did that. But I just feel like $88 for, like, years on end, especially if you travel a lot, to not have to stand in line for TSA and not take all your shoes off and everything like that, and take everything out of your bags and whatever. I mean, it's, like, super easy, right? So if you travel a lot, that's definitely one thing that I would, like, highly recommend, is getting TSA pre-check. But I kind of want to know about the global entry thing, because Alex and I are talking, you know, more about, like, traveling internationally and stuff like that. And so the more we do that, then that would definitely be easier. Because when you go out, I mean, when you're flying out of, like, other countries, they typically don't have, like, you know, the TSA pre-check, but they do have, like, the global entry kind of thing where you can go through that way. So, but, and I did not listen to really any more of my audiobook. I was actually thinking about stopping the audiobook that I'm listening to and starting something new. But when I looked, the audiobook, The Recovery Agent by Jana Ivanovich, is literally, like, 3 hours, and I actually could just look right now, because I'm, like, right at the beginning of it. I don't even think I've listened to 5 minutes of it, to be honest with you. The cover is cool. Well, you can't, I don't know if you can see it, but the cover is cool. 3 hours and 43 minutes. Yeah, I'm, like, within the first minute of it. So I was like, I'm gonna maybe start something else, but Mel loved it, and then I was texting Nikki from the book club as well, my friend Nikki, and we're all going to Arizona. Well, she and I are going to Arizona to visit Mel in August, and she was saying that she was thinking about reading it because Mel had recommended it to her. And so I was like, well, that would be kind of fun. And the three of us would have something that we could like all be reading it, like a series together or something that we, you know, all talk about together or whatever. So I am going to listen to that because it's only 3 hours and 43 minutes. And then I think after that, I really want to listen to that new T.J. Newman book. The one, I think it's called Drowning. The first one was called Falling, and it's about the plane. And this one is like where this plane goes like into the ocean. I really want to read that. So I think I'm going to read that or listen to that one next on Audible. And it's so interesting to me. I actually, like, this was something I wanted to talk about in my Q&A, but I didn't talk about it, is when people criticize audiobooks as not reading. And so, like, I can't remember, I was talking about it, something on here, I think it was on the vlog actually, and I got quite a few kind of like snarky, sarcastic comments, and I know that people meant it like to be funny, right? But they're like, well, listening to audiobooks isn't reading, which is always interesting to me when people say that, right? Because like, is that to say that somebody that couldn't physically read a book, that if they listen to an audiobook, then they're not actually reading a book, they're not like getting the information or whatever? And so I Google searched it, and it was interesting what came up with all these research studies. I should like Google search it right now. My husband actually was just sending me this picture. He sent me this, no, you can't see it because it's too foggy, but this picture of this Prada bag, and he's like, isn't this bag so cute? It's $38.50. I said, not for $4,000. That bag is not cute. But oh wait, hold on a second. Are audio books reading? Now I have to tell you, when I searched this, because I was like, I'm gonna be totally open-minded to this, right? To be honest with you, I don't really care, okay? For me, I do it because I enjoy it. I love listening to an audiobook. It's very relaxing to me. It's very enjoyable for me. And I actually retain more information listening to an audiobook, even if I listen to it at 2 times or 2 times 5 speed, than I do if I physically read a book. Because when I physically read a book, I get so distracted that I read the same part over and over and over again. Back in the day, I used to read physical copy books left and right and never got distracted. I don't know why now, but I think it's since I started listening to audiobooks. But I went into this really open-minded. So just so you guys know, the snarky, sarcastic comments of people being like, oh, listening to audiobooks isn't reading, like, that doesn't bother me. Think what you want to think. I mean, in all honesty, I don't really care. Because I listen to audiobooks because I enjoy listening to audiobooks, right? Like, if somebody else doesn't think that that's reading, like, that's not going to change how I do anything. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really, I don't know. For me, it's like, it's whatever. Like, I mean, I'm just listening to audiobooks and reading physical copy books and doing whatever. It's like when people say like graphic novels aren't reading a book or whatever, you know, it's just like, enjoy what you want to enjoy, you know what I mean? But, so I went into this with an open mind because I really honestly thought that the response when I looked up articles would be like, no, there's like a discussion about this, that audiobooks aren't really reading, and this is what we have found. And I really thought conclusively what they would say is, like, experts, right? That, like, academia experts would say that audiobooks weren't really reading. Because what's interesting is on BookTube, people always say, like, with readathons and things like that, they always say audiobooks are books. Like, if you want to listen to a book, you can listen to a book. It's still, is this going out of focus? I think it is. But with like readathons and stuff, they always say, like, if you want to listen, or like book clubs and whatever, like, if you want to listen to a book, like, it's still considered reading, right? And so on BookTube, most people, I would say the majority of people on BookTube consider audiobooks reading, right? So I was like, this will be really interesting to see what people like in the academic field believe. Like, I have a feeling they believe that like audiobooks are not like really books. Well, when you look it up, what's interesting is it's quite the opposite. It says on here, and I just Googled, are audiobooks reading? And every expert spoken to for this feature said the same thing. Audiobooks not only absolutely count as reading, but they can be essential depending on who is listening to, aka reading them. And this is from an article from the Reader's Digest called, Do Experts Think Audiobooks Count as Reading? And the short answer is yes. And it goes on to this whole thing about how, in fact, there is really no difference for most people in how you retain information, and that like they've done all these like brain waves and brain studies and things like that of people reading physical copy books and people listening to audiobooks. I thought this was really super interesting. Like I said, I went into this with a completely open mind. It wasn't like I was trying to prove a point or anything like that, because like I said, I really don't care at the end of the day. I mean, if the entire world came out and said audiobooks aren't reading, I would still continue to listen to audiobooks because I enjoy it. It makes me happy, right? So I just wanted to kind of see what like the expert answer was. But I was surprised because what they've done all these research studies on it, and what they found is that the experience of physically reading a book versus listening to an audio version of the book is from the brain waves and the retainment of information and how you process the information is like almost identical. Like there's really no difference in physically reading a book to the brain. There's almost no difference from physically reading a book and listening to an audiobook. There's like no difference whatsoever, which I thought was really interesting. Like I wouldn't have even thought that that would be something that they came up with. And there was all these other things that they cited too, all these like different research studies that I thought, who's even doing research studies on audiobooks versus physical copy books? But who knew, right? Like, so anyway, but I thought that was kind of interesting. So yeah, do what makes you happy. I love audiobooks though. There's a full moon tonight, you guys. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of like hidden behind the trees. I want to see if you guys can see it. Let me put this up here. Can you see it? Oh, you can see it. Look. Isn't that so pretty? I love moons. Moon River, da, 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 da. When my mom passed away, there were certain things that my mom wanted at her funeral that she had left notes about behind. There were like prayers that she wanted read at her funeral and things like that. And she wanted to be buried in this dress that she had bought in the Haight-Ashbury in the 60s. It was like, it was like this black dress. It had these wooden beads on it and stuff. So she was buried in that dress. And she wanted a flower garland in her hair because she had this book of prayers from when she was like a little girl. And there was like this one like picture, like it would have like a prayer and then it would have this picture like drawn next to it. And it was these girls and they were like in a circle and they were like dancing and they all had these like flower garlands in their hair. And so my mom, she had this dress in the basement, like with this like dress thing, and she said, when I die, or when I pass, she used to say pass. I love the word, I love the saying passing away, because I believe that we do pass to something else. I'll say die from time to time, because whatever, but I typically prefer the word passing, because I really do believe that we pass. Actually, somebody said something to me that really helped me a lot when my mom passed away. They said, your mom's last breath, this is kind of like a saying that people say, I guess, but it really helped me. I had never heard it before. They said your mom's last breath on earth was her first breath in heaven. And I don't know why that really helped me. But anyway, she, like, on this dress that she had, like, wrapped in, like, a garment bag or whatever in the basement, she said, when I pass, please, bury me in this black dress that I got in the Haight-Ashbury, I think she said the Haight, in the 60s, with a flower garland of daisies in my hair and patchouli oil, and please have a lone guitar sing Moon River at my gravesite. And she got all of that, except for at the funeral home. They couldn't like actually put patchouli oil on her because of the smell or something would like, I don't know, like they just couldn't do that because of the funeral home. So they actually just like buried her with this bottle of patchouli oil. And I can't see, I feel like I'm at like the 29-minute mark. I can't really see where I'm at. Oh, 29 minutes and like 50 some seconds. It's gonna stop here in 5, 4, 3. I can't believe I vlogged sitting out here already a half an hour, but I want to tell you this real quick because I've shared this on here before. But so when I came to my mom's condo, which is now our condo, and I was getting stuff ready to take to like the funeral director, like for my mom's viewing and stuff like that, In the state of Indiana, I don't know why, but you have to bury somebody in underwear. It's like a law or something like that. It's like one of those old-timey laws. And my mom was like so like weirdly specific about underwear. Like I remember when I would take her to doctor's appointments, she would always like the day before have me like pull out like certain kind of underwear and things like that she wanted. And so I knew that she wanted like brand new underwear. Like she was very weird about like brand new underwear and like, you know, classy underwear and whatever. So I came to her house, I was like looking for all that stuff because I had already like taken the dress and whatever. And then I was going through all these pictures, and I was going through this dresser that she had. It was like this old dresser that she had in the closet. And it was like where she kept her like pantyhose and stuff like that. And she had pictures and notes like stuffed in this thing. And so I was kind of like going through it to look for pictures, right? And I found this thing in there, which is so funny because when I was a little kid, so Caroline she never sucked her thumb. She does, I think it's called like ruminating or something, where you do that with your tongue. Alex's brother does it too, Carlos, which is really weird because like every once in a while Caroline, like when she's like stressed out, she still does it to this day. But she had a, I don't think she would care that I said this, but anyway, she had a, what do you call it? A quilt that she carried around, for like a comforter or a quilt that she carried, and it got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So that was like her blanket, right? Like my blanket was an ace bandage because my dad was a doctor. So he always had those ace bandages, and I would do what I called was edging it, and I would hold it real close to my nose, and then like over time they would like rip apart, and I would knot them together, and they would like look all fringy and old. Like you would never in a million years know that this like beat up battered ace bandage that was like now like about that long had like ever been like this really long, you know, like an ace bandage that you like, you know, wrap up your arm and stuff in, like if your arm gets hurt, those kind of things, because my dad always had those, right? Like because from being a doctor. So I would have this thing and I would call it an edgy. I called it an edgy because I would always like edge it, like with my nose, like I like held it real close to my nose and I would suck my thumb. And I loved putting it on the ice in the freezer because it would make it real cold. And then in the summertime, like I would hold it real close to my nose and it felt so good. So anyway, when I was going through my mom's drawer, I can remember I had this like little bag, and the bag I had like her underwear in there, and then like the bottle of patchouli oil, and I'd already gone to the flower shop, and they were so nice. Like I was like crying, I was explaining to them what I wanted, and they're like, yeah, no problem. They made a flower garland for my mom's hair. I couldn't believe it, out of daisies. Like it was incredible, right? They were so nice. But anyway, so I already had this like brand new underwear for my mom in there, and then I had like some pictures in there that I wanted them to put like on this disc, because they were going to do this like, you know, disc of like pictures that they were going to show at the viewing, and then this little bottle of patchouli oil and all this kind of stuff. Well, I had found this edgy from when I was a little kid, and it was like this long, right? And so I threw it in the bag because I wanted it to keep for myself. I was like, oh my God, I would like wonder what happened to this thing. Like I haven't seen this in years, like, you know, and it was kind of like a memory for me of like my childhood or whatever, you know? So I threw it in the bag because I was just going to like take it out of the house. And then when I got, you know, take the bag into the funeral home and then like take the edgy out and take it home with me. Well, I forgot to take the edgy out when I got to the funeral home and got distracted and whatever. And so just took it in. So we get to the funeral home, and we had up to that point decided that it was gonna be an open casket. My mother, so this autoimmune disease that she had, it affected mostly her kidneys, and so she ended up really dying of kidney failure, and so she had to have dialysis and all kinds of stuff, and she was like super, super bloated. And so my aunt said, if you want to have an open casket, that's totally up to you. She was like, but I don't really think that she looks like herself. And she's like, but I'm going to totally leave it up to you. And so she was like, but do you want to see? And so I was like, yeah. So we like opened the casket and then decided that we were going to have a closed casket, because my mom just like looked really, really bloated. And I just don't think that she would have wanted to have an open casket and stuff like that, you know? So, a little bit more was said than that, but we'll just leave it at that. So anyway, but when I opened the casket, which was like super tough anyway and difficult, right? But like after, you know, saying what I had to say and, you know, all that kind of stuff. One of the things that my mom said to me before she passed away that was really, really helpful was, do not get attached to my body, because I believe that I'm just a bag of soul. And so when I'm gone, like, my body is just a shell, so don't get attached to my body. That really, really helped me when my mom passed away, because like, the instant she passed, I no longer believed that she was attached to that body anymore. But, I mean, like, that was my mom, you know, it was still super hard to see her there and stuff like that. But she had the flower garland in her hair and the dress and everything like that, and the bottle of patchouli oil was, like, right here. But then, like, you know, she had her arms like this or something, and I, like, looked at her wrist, and they had, like, tied that thing on the wrist. And the guy ended up saying, he said something to me about it. I can't remember when, but he said, we didn't know what this was. We thought it was like a bracelet or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, that's like my edgy from when I was a kid. And then I just was like, I can't, like, take it off. Like this is almost like, like kismet. Like, it's supposed to happen. Like, that my mom's supposed to, like, care. Because she, I mean, my entire childhood, I had this thing. Like, from the youngest that I can remember, I always had this, like, edgy thing with me, right? And, so I was like, no, this is, like, it's supposed to go with my mom, so. But anyway. But that wasn't what I was going to tell you guys tonight. I don't even know why I started thinking about that. There was something I was going to tell you. There was something about my mom that I was actually thinking about. It was weird, because when we were driving home, we had the windows down. And Alex goes, he said something about, like, missing the smell of the beach, or, oh, he's like, oh, it's summer in the Midwest smell. I go, I love the smell of the summer in the Midwest. It smells like fresh cut lawns and earth, and I love the smell of it. And it's actually, I thought it would be really cold outside tonight, but it's not that cold. It's like 70, it was like 71 when we were coming home. Now that's compared to like 80 something in, you know, Mexico. But it's pretty nice out tonight. So yeah, but it smells so good here. I love the smell of summer in the Midwest. What was I going to tell you guys? There was something I was going to tell you. I had some memory about my mom, like when we were driving home. And I was like, I wanted to talk about it on the vlog. I know as soon as I stop vlogging, I'll remember what it was. I feel like it had something to do with, like, being related to, I don't know, but there must have been storms earlier, because when we came down the street, the electricity was off, or the lights were off on the street, like, before you get into our neighborhood. All of the condos have electricity, but, like, and our clocks were, like, flashing, so the electricity must have went out at some point, but, like, it was, like, completely pitch dark, like, before we got to our neighborhood. Shoot, what was I going to say to you guys? Now I don't remember it. Oh, well. I'll remember it one of these days. Somebody sent Alex a message about the video that I did at the pool. And at one point, there's like a cardinal sitting on the fence right behind me. And Alex was like, did you see this? And I was like, if you knew how many people have sent me that picture, which I absolutely love, because for those of you that don't know, like, my mom and I had this conversation before she passed away. It was like before she got, like, was really sick. And she said if she ever came back to visit, because we always said that we would come back and, like, you know, visit each other or whatever, spiritually, that she would come back as a cardinal or the white fluff that floats. Like, it would be on a day. She said, I will come back as the brightest cardinal on a day where there's, like, white fluff in the air, like that pollen stuff, you know? Which was really weird, because the day of her funeral, there was, like, tons of that stuff in the air. Later, my dad, he said, I feel like somebody just, like, walked by. I thought I just saw somebody, like, walk by my neighbor's thing. Because I can see their garage door and the window across the street. That kind of freaks me out. It's very still tonight. But later, in telling my dad about that conversation, which I don't think he really believes in a whole lot of that anyway, he goes, oh, so you and your mom picked the Indiana state bird, which is like the most common bird in Indiana, the cardinal. I go, Dad, We just left cardinals. But, which is so funny because I've really kind of felt my mom's presence a lot this summer, and there's been like tons of cardinals out, you know? And, but that video that I did when I was at the pool, there was like a cardinal that came and like landed right behind me. So thank you for sending that to Alex. I appreciate that. But it's so funny because so many people have sent me like a screenshot of that video and been like, oh my God, there's a cardinal right behind you. Your mom is visiting you in this video, which kind of reminds me of like, you know, going swimming with my mom and stuff like that. And there I did this video about the pool. So it's cool. What was I going to say? What was the story that I was going to tell about my mom? It was something about when I was a kid growing up. Now I can't remember what it was. Oh well. I'll remember it and then I'll tell it. And I've probably told it in 15 vlogs already. You know. But I did have a great trip. This was a really, really good trip. But I have to say I'm also happy to be home and back on my front porch. I love my front porch so much. It's very homey. And yeah. In a couple weeks, Alex is going out of town for a couple days because he's going back to Mexico actually for his brother's bachelor party. I don't really know where they're going. They're going to some really like small town, like surfing town that Fufu picked out. Well, that's my brother-in-law, Juan Carlos, but we call him Fufu. That he picked out for this bachelor party. But Alex is really excited about it, so that'll be fun. Yeah. Got a lot of summer left. We got July, we got August, September's still hot in Indiana, so we got 2.5, 3 months left of summer. And I'm loving every minute of it. All right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here now. I actually talked a lot longer than I thought I would. So with this, I'm at like 42 minutes now of vlogging out here, and then I don't know what I have. And I hope that you guys can hear me when I'm in the airport. So if you can't, I apologize. If you had to fast forward through all of that, I apologize. But anyway, I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Sunday, even though it's probably Monday when you're watching this because it's already 2:02 in the morning. And I hope that you're getting relaxed, rejuvenated, renewed, and refreshed for the week ahead. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Like I always say, you might be putting a smile on their face, you might be making them feel better, you might be making their day, and you might just be cheering them up. You don't know. And also, be kinder to one another, love one another a little bit more, and most importantly, be kinder and love yourselves a little bit more. Why? Because it all starts with you. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you.